Well, May the 28th, I think, or 29th. It's a Friday, so you can work it out. We're still in lockdown. This is my lemon tree in hydroponic air pots, which on earlier videos I mentioned I had a cracking amount of lemons this winter, and next winter's is coming on now as it stores up energy throughout the summer, and the little flowers are coming and it needs heaps of water to keep going. Gets a bucket full a day, and plenty of acid. It likes lots of acid. A few areas look a bit grim, but all in all, I try and make the bottom of that, you can see I've given it a water already, give the bottom of that, keep it wet all the time, and you know, it wicks it all up, and that's lovely. This is an orange tree, I've said before. Beautiful smell that's coming from that, but never had any oranges off of it. Never mind, we live in hope. Bay tree's looking much better than it's ever looked before, and the old bamboo still looks a bit sad. It's May, end of May, as I said. It starts to pick up around August and September, and then it starts to look good. And it sort of does well over the winter, but then this time of the year, would you think it would be growing and doing stuff? It doesn't seem to want to do it, so that's that. The mint's come back. If you remember, a lot of that went into some balsamic vinegar and other yummy bits and pieces. And with the lamb, had some lamb last night, a bit of lamb boona. Well, most of them have dropped off, as I predicted, but it's looking a bit healthier again. And this leaf curl has come back in earnest. That's a problem with all peach trees, but I thought this was a resisted particular one, but nope, it's there. So it'll get another wash this winter, and see if we can stop that from happening. Plum trees looking a bit anemic underneath this shade, but unfortunately that's the way it's got to be, because we need to have that. If you saw on one of my blogs, that's the infamous chairs, which are now out in force, and quite simply they go forward, and the other one joins up with it, and you got yourself a picnic table. And I thought it was a good design. We have got a support that goes underneath there if you so should wish it, and that obviously can stand on the table and have a dance on it. Still works without that, but when we first designed them, we thought it could be a weak point if people stood on the table. The apple tree, well, that one suffers with like a woolly aphid on some of the, I don't know whether I'll be able to pick it out here, but really very annoying. The ants feed the farm, the aphids, and go up and down it. The other apple trees don't suffer with the woolly aphid. Maybe it's just its position. There's a Cox's pippin, that one. Sue's wild garden is looking a bit not so wild, really. Grapes are beginning to form again, and as mentioned, have made wine from it, but it's a very pippy one. Some babies out here just to make up my rows. That's some broad beans, and all the spring I've been trying to get Bolotti beans to grow. For some bizarre reason, they've not doing very well. Got some more, another effort here, but I don't think that's going to be enough to warrant. Well, I don't know. I'll just keep watering and hoping. Climbing up to the orchard. Well, orchard's a joke, but that's what it used to be called. Sue's been clearing this over the last couple of weeks, and continued to do so today a little bit. We're going to put up a new fruit cage in there eventually. We're absolutely not bothered with the outside strawberries, not even trying to protect them. The birds have been helping themselves. It's looking a bit barren up here, although I'm watering quite regularly. Alliums are doing what alliums do, and sweet corn outside are beginning to look like little juveniles now, looking quite healthy. There's the broad beans, and there's the gap in my row. There's a picture of me, shadow. Those there are another type of bean, a white bean, cannelloni some people call them. In England we don't use such fancy names. It's a white bean. These are the two sets of runner beans I've got. I have to be honest, my son's up in Dartmoor a lot further forward than this, but mine are beginning to twiddle now, and they're far enough. I hope they'll still be a good little crop enough for us. Not big on them anyway, but Sue and I are not big on them. The parsnips are gigantic. My salad crop here is going berserk. All sorts of salad bits and pieces in there, and lettuce and spring onions, and I just pull out what I need when I need it. It all seems to work well. As I mentioned, the blooming birds are in here. The birds they've managed to, I've put things across the entrance, but they've knocked them down. Netting, they knock them down and get out one way or another. There you are, see? You may have got that. Occupational hazard. I wish my cats would come up here and sit and guard it over the afternoon, but they don't. They're too lazy. They could rather catch mice and things. Yeah, if you remember, that was my mange toot, to which I'm tooting and monging. We'll have a little bit of a mange on that one. Lovely jubbly. We need to having some spinach tonight for tea. The bird's eye chilies, which I'll freeze, and well, not at the moment. When they've produced their bird's eye, I will. Beetroot coming on, and a flower, which is unusual for me. 3 packet of seeds, but as you see, they're going to be getting depleted. But we've made acres and acres of jam. The potatoes over there are waning now. We still keep watering them and making sure that your potatoes underneath the ground are fattening up, which I hope they do. And these are now well taller than me. They're beginning to flower, and you can see the pollen is there, and there's I don't expect you can see like mists of pollen falling down. Tons of the stuff. So they all pollinate themselves, and whatever the case may be, and do what they've got to do, what nature does. And they're looking really good. As I said, they're about 7 foot tall now. They will reach the top of the tunnel, which is 3 meters, and they'll bend over at the top eventually, before they finish growing. Various tomato plants and whatever left over because they're, failures and whatever. These are my melons, which need to go in place. Some of this stuff needs to go out of the tunnel now. The tunnel takes, in the next couple of weeks, will take a drastic, all these will be gone. We'll clear it right out. We'll be putting all sorts of plants in here, to which there are babies coming on at the moment, melons and what have you. Here's Santa's little helper. Would you like to wave? She's got our produce for the big house.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so that's that. Finally, well, probably not finally, I always do this on the video. I was mentioning about my hydroponic system, to which I had to fix up because that joint up there came undone in the wind. No big deal because we haven't had any rain anyway. There's still water left in there which goes down through a filter and in through and around all my plants. As you can see, probably last time they were just babies. Now they're 4 or 5 foot tall and growing all the time. These don't need to be watered because they've been watered by those pots outside, and they go around a system which you can see there, little T-junctions and little valves to stop stuff from, if I want to stop a circuit I can stop a circuit. But if we look in here, I don't know whether you can see or not, but there's water in there. The little valve is allowing just enough water to keep these plants occupied. If we look very carefully, we can start seeing, I count on that one actually, so I did see this morning, there's a little tiny baby cucumber coming off there. You'll be surprised how fast that little tiny baby cucumber will probably be eating that by the end of next week. It will grow that fast. Tomatoes now forming. These are the small ones. The Alicantes are a little way behind. These are Alicantes, and those are super sweet. Forgot the name of them now. No, not bird's eye, that's a chili. Do you need to know? I don't know. But anyway, they're small, they're lovely, and the name will come to me later on. So it's determined by the end of next year I shall have that done. Right, a load of melons will go in there with I've set up that system there, hydroponics, ready to go with a, I forgot to bring that screwdriver up. Oh well. Catkins growing in the garden. I won't be needing any tea tonight, just picked a great big rat or something up. It's a huge great thing. Well, keeps it all down, I suppose. So we go up to our secondary garden, to which I've got the cubits growing and some potatoes, just to keep the cubits in order. There's my cubits growing. Some of these are pumpkins, some of them are butternut squash, and planted in the last few days. So plenty of water at the moment till they bed themselves in. This year hopefully I'll get a lot more than I did last year. I planted them earlier slightly because the weather was been better. They seem to be stronger plants. That's the second point. And the third point is I'm here this time. Last time I went on a canal boat, to which I intend to go on a canal boat again, but the weather was very, very hot last year, just when I planted them. And starving them at water at the beginning I found absolutely stunts their growth. These are the first earlies which, well, they just, I've said this before, but they just don't do very well outside the tunnel. They seem to just grow mad, but I expect there'll be a fair crop off of them. There'll be enough for what Sue and I want. But and it's a lot easier to dig, or you just pull them out rather than try and do them in the ground. You just pour them out and pick out the potatoes. Tiger seeing something. If killed children are watching, please look away if my cat decides to kill something. It is a actual psychopathic killer. I dug that tank out. I found it, one of the old tanks that they used to do the galvanise on it is in excellent condition. So we will press that into service just as a storage. It was holding water. I can't believe it was, because the tap is really loose, but it was holding water. So we watered with what was in there. I dragged it out here because it weighs it doesn't weigh a ton, but it weighs a fair old amount. And I'll check the level before I fill it up. But we've got various areas of water, and you just can't have enough of it, quite frankly. Well, that's about it, really. It's all looking pretty good. A lot of work going into it. I don't know whether the pigeons are back in their roost or not. Richard's chickens, pigeons. There is chickens. We had a chicken up here last weekend, clucking around. Come from somebody's house, but he's gone now. I was going to make it home, but I was told not to. There we go. We're waiting for Dad to come round and give us some tea. Some up the top there. That white one's his expensive racer. I mean, he's looking forward to sending them off to France and seeing them all in. Perhaps we'll make a video of that. Well, there you are. End of May 2020. See you soon.